Right now, as you're watching this, there are roughly 10,000 aircraft suspended in the sky above you. That's not across the whole day. That's right now, this exact second. Aluminum tubes carrying 1.2 million human beings, all moving at 500 miles per hour, crossing paths in an invisible maze that has no walls, no lanes, and no traffic lights. And here's what should terrify you. Pilots often can't see each other. Radar has a delay. Weather shifts without warning. Communication fails. So why don't they crash? We're about to uncover a system so layered, so paranoid, so obsessively redundant that it makes nuclear launch protocols look casual. A system where the sky has been carved into invisible boxes, where every aircraft is tracked by technology that's technically illegal to disrupt, and where the last line of defense speaks directly to pilots in a computerized voice that says just two words, words that override every other command in aviation. This is the hidden architecture that keeps the sky from falling. Look out an airplane window. You see nothing but blue, maybe clouds. It feels empty, peaceful even. That feeling is a lie. Commercial aircraft cruise between 30,000 and 40,000 feet. That sounds like a lot of vertical space. It's not. When you account for optimal fuel efficiency, jet stream positioning, and weight restrictions, most planes cluster into a narrow band of altitude. At any given moment, over the Atlantic Ocean alone, there are 1,500 aircraft threading through corridors barely wider than a highway. And here's what most passengers don't realize. The sky doesn't work like roads. On the ground, cars follow painted lanes. They react to brake lights. You can honk, swerve, stop instantly. At cruising altitude, an aircraft closing on another at a combined speed of 1,000 miles per hour covers 3 football fields every single second. By the time a pilot sees a collision coming, it's already too late to react. So how does anyone survive up there? In 1956, 2 planes collided over the Grand Canyon. 128 people died. There was no air traffic control covering that airspace. Pilots were flying by visual contact alone, in clouds. That disaster created the system we have today. But the system isn't what you think. Most people assume air traffic control works like a video game. One person watching dots on a screen, telling planes where to go. That's partially true, but it's not even close to the whole picture. The real system starts before anyone even boards the aircraft. 24 hours before your flight takes off, a computer in Washington, D.C. already knows it exists. The FAA's traffic flow management system has already assigned your aircraft a specific slot in the national airspace. A precise departure time, a precise route, a precise arrival window, calculated to the minute. This isn't scheduling. This is flow control. Think of it like water through pipes. Too many flights converging on one airport creates a bottleneck. So the system staggers departures from hundreds of airports simultaneously, holding a plane in Denver for 6 minutes so that a flight from Chicago doesn't have to circle over Dallas. You've probably experienced this. Sitting on a tarmac, the pilot announcing an air traffic control delay. You assumed it was incompetence. It was actually the opposite. The system was protecting you from a cascade failure you'd never see. But flow control only handles the big picture. Once aircraft are airborne, something else takes over. How far apart do you think planes must stay from each other? A mile? 2 miles? Horizontally, the standard is 3 to 5 nautical miles. At 500 miles per hour, that's roughly 20 seconds of separation. 20 seconds stands between you and catastrophe. Here's where it gets stranger. The sky has been divided into sectors, invisible boxes stacked on top of each other, each one controlled by a different team of humans. When your aircraft crosses from one box into another, responsibility physically changes hands. Controllers in one building literally call controllers in another building. Delta 447, your control. Delta 447, my control. This happens dozens of times per flight. And if a controller makes a mistake, that's when the machines take over. Air traffic controllers are extraordinarily good at their jobs. The error rate is vanishingly small. But vanishingly small is not zero. In 2006, a controller in Los Angeles forgot about a FedEx cargo plane. It was cleared to land on the same runway where another aircraft was cleared to take off. The planes were seconds from impact. This is called a runway incursion. It happens more often than airlines want you to know. Approximately 1,700 times per year in the United States alone. So why don't these become fatal? Because buried in every commercial aircraft is a box that doesn't trust humans at all. It's called CAS, the Traffic Collision Avoidance System, and it changes everything. CAS works independently of ground control. It interrogates the transponders of every aircraft nearby, calculates their trajectory, and predicts conflicts up to 45 seconds in the future. If another aircraft gets too close, CAS issues what's called a traffic advisory. A calm voice says, "Traffic, traffic." If the situation worsens, it escalates to a resolution advisory. And this is where CAS does something remarkable. It directly commands the pilot, "Climb, climb now," or "Descend, descend now." Pilots are required to obey CAS, even if air traffic control says otherwise, even if their captain disagrees, even if following the command seems dangerous. CAS outranks everyone. The two aircraft resolve the conflict autonomously. One climbs, one descends, without any human coordinator involved. But there's still one scenario where CAS fails. One gap in the system so alarming that it caused the deadliest mid-air collision in history. First, you need to understand the last layer of protection, the one most people have never heard of. There's a system watching the watchers. ASTX, Airport Surface Detection Equipment. It tracks every aircraft, every vehicle, every object moving on an airport surface, and projects their positions onto a screen in the control tower. But more importantly, it predicts collisions on the ground. If a plane is about to cross a runway where another aircraft is landing, ASTX triggers alarms. Red lights flash in the tower. The ground itself becomes a safety system. This technology didn't exist before 2003. Before then, controllers tracked ground movement by looking out the window. At night, in fog, at airports with 200 flights per hour. Now add the final layer, ADS-B, or Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast. Every modern aircraft broadcasts its GPS position, altitude, and velocity once per second. Not to controllers, to every nearby aircraft simultaneously. Planes see each other directly now, in real time, without radar delay. This is the system where disruption is federally illegal. Jamming ADS-B signals carries a $100,000 fine and criminal prosecution. Because if ADS-B goes dark, the entire architecture starts to crack. Now, the failure I promised. In 2002, over Oberlingen, Germany, a cargo plane and a passenger jet collided at 36,000 feet. 71 people died, including 45 children. Both aircraft had CAS. Both systems worked perfectly. They issued opposite commands, one to climb, one to descend. But the passenger jet's pilot obeyed the air traffic controller instead of CAS. The controller, overwhelmed, gave the wrong instruction. The pilot followed it. The cargo plane followed CAS. They climbed into each other. The lesson reshaped global aviation. CAS is now absolute law. No exceptions. Every time you step onto an aircraft, you enter a system designed by people who assumed humans would fail, who built machine overrides for human error, who carved the sky into invisible rooms and assigned guards to every door. Over 4.5 billion passengers fly safely every year, not because the system is simple, but because it's paranoid. And perhaps that's the question worth considering. What other systems in your life are protected by this level of obsessive redundancy? And what systems aren't? If this made you see the sky differently, subscribe. The next invisible system we uncover might be even closer to home.